And up next, a brand new radio play by Jonathan Hodson titled Saved by Lady Death, starring Jesse Lofton and the Sverstother, Josh Hodson, and Andrew Gillingham, with a cameo by Jonathan Hodson.
31st of January, 1943. Last month, the Times sent me on one of the American bombing raids to cover their attack on fascist Italy. The bomber I was flying on was one of the flying fortresses named Betty's Boop. On the nose was a detailed painting of the voluptuous cartoon character in a revealing nature. The mission was to fly from Dorchester across the Mediterranean and bomb the city of Turin. From there, we were to continue on to Soviet Ukraine to land and refuel for the return flight. The bombing was an awesome sight. The new bomb sites allowed for great precision, turning the once grand ancient city into nothing but rubble. The lead bomber then turned northeast towards the Soviet Union. Our flight continued on for several hours, and then we hit a snowstorm. And that is where the actual story begins.
And then there was this Jerry 109 that swooped in from the left and was like, ka 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 ka! And then it was like, wow! It was awesome.
Yes, it was very impressive.
Shoot, how would you know? You were covering your head over in the corner like a little baby.
Yes, well, let's not mention that, shall we? I think I'll head forward now to check on the captain and see how much longer this wretched trip will last.
Alright. Just be careful walking over that catwalk now. Them bombs gone. Not much keeping you from slipping off and going straight through the bottom of them bomb bay doors.
Right, I'll try to keep that in mind. Oh my, you can do this. No problem at all. No problem at all. Aha! Not so bad after all. Gentlemen, may I inquire how long it will take until we land?
Wish I could tell you, Charles. We lost our group in that storm a couple hours back. To make things worse, our radio and compass got shredded by flak in the bombing run, keeping us from calling the formation to get back to proper heading. The cloud cover's too thick for us to go by the sun. Plus, we've been riding on E for the past 20 minutes, so no matter what, we're gonna have to land fairly soon.
Well, to be honest, Captain, I'm surprised that the engines haven't already cut out. Fat mouth. There goes engine number 2. We still got 3 turning though. I think I better just shut up now.
Please do.
I'm gonna bring her down low to find a suitable place to land. With the amount of snow that's fallen, it's gonna be difficult to locate a safe landing area.
Hey Cap, I think I see a city up ahead.
I see it. Let's land on the far side. Looks like there's some flat fields over. Flat!
We've lost control of the rudder. We're going down.
All right, everyone out.
At that moment, an explosion ripped through the fuselage of Betty's Boop, throwing me out of the bomber with great force. I looked up and saw the doomed plane overhead. The tail was gone, the hull where it used to be trailing thick smoke as the plane began to spin downward. I then saw 2 parachutes open up, the white fabric billowing as it gathered air. Realizing I had not deployed my own chute, I desperately grasped for the ripcord. I found it and pulled hard. The parachute deployed in an instant, jerking harshly as it fought to slow my descent. Looking down, I saw the snow-covered forest rapidly approaching. I braced myself and shut my eyes. My body broke through a layer of branches and then I lost consciousness. Damn, now what?
Stetcher,
Please don't shoot.
you speak English?
Yes, I just fell from the American bomber. That one that was just shot down, that one.
You do not speak like an American. How do I know you're not fascist spy?
Do I look like a bloody Fritz to you? I'm an Englishman, a reporter. I was in the plane covering a story on the American bombing campaign.
Alright. I'm Lieutenant Lyudmila Pavlichenko of the Red Army's 25th Rifle Division.
Charles Standish, The Times. I saw at least 2 others jump out of the plane after me.
I saw them also. We must hurry to find them before the fascists do. Come.
Oh, righto. So, Lieutenant Pavlichenko?
Pavlichenko.
Right. Would you actually have shot me back there?
Da.
Well, thank you for not doing that.
You're welcome.
Also, could you tell me where I am? Possibly in the Ukraine?
The Ukraine? Not Ukraine. You're in Mother Russia. This is great city of Stalingrad, named after the premier himself.
Stalingrad? Is that surrounded by the Germans?
Da. We've been under siege for months, nearly completely cut off from supplies and military support. Our people are starving, but we will prevail. The Germans do not know how to fight in the winter. They rely too much on equipment which does not work in the cold. Their blockade is weakening. That is why I'm out here in the forest, trying to find gaps that we can exploit.
And what have you found?
The report seems to be true. Positions once lined with fascists are now thinned. I even stumbled across one of the new Tiger-type tanks broken down and abandoned to rot.
Things are looking up there.
Indeed.
Say, where did you learn to speak English? It's very good.
Thank you. My father wanted me to learn English. Said it would come in handy one day. When I went to study at the University of Kiev to study history, I was able to perfect my speaking with an American exchange student there.
Well, hold up, you have a history degree?
Yet, I was 1 semester away from getting my diploma when Hitler invaded. I was among the first to volunteer. If I survive this war, I will return to Kiev and finish my masters.
Well, I hope you'll be able to do that. And...
Hey, Charles! Is that you?
Captain? Where are you?
Hey, I'm up here.
What are you doing up in a tree?
What does it look like, you dolt? My parachute got stuck in the limbs.
Well, why don't you just cut yourself down?
I would if I could. I must have lost my knife in the fall.
Here.
Much obliged, ma'am. Ow.
Captain, this is Lieutenant Pavlichenko of the Red Army.
Captain Jim Elliott, 304 Bomber Squadron. Pleasure. Oh, and here's your knife back. Thanks for that.
No problem.
My co-pilot jumped with me. He landed less than a few hundred yards to the east. I heard a gunshot earlier. I need to go see if he's alright.
It took nearly an hour to locate the co-pilot. Or at least, what was left of him.
There, I see him. Hey, buddy! We've been looking all over.
That is a lot of blood.
He's dead, Jim. I'm sorry.
He was a good man, and an even better pilot.
We cannot stay here. The fascists who did this cannot be far off. I will take you to our headquarters. They will know how to help you.
We were about 2 miles outside the city. What would have normally taken 30 minutes took us over 3 hours, as we had to constantly avoid German patrols. As we came closer, the sounds of war grew louder. By the time we arrived at the city outskirts, the sun had fallen over the horizon, the sky growing dark. Instead of going through the main entrance, Lieutenant Pavlichenko brought us to the opening of a large pipe. Apparently Stalingrad had an intricate network of steam pipes throughout the city, sending hot gases to the many factories needed to power the steam turbines. The Germans destroyed the steam plant several months ago, but the Russians found another use for them. The pipes, which were normally suspended 20 to 30 feet in the air, were used to move scouts and snipers clandestinely to the German-occupied parts of the city, performing sabotage and assassinating high-level Wehrmacht officers. While not terribly spacious, the pipes were big enough for one to crawl on their hands and knees. It was uncomfortable, but it worked very well.
So, Lieutenant, how'd you, end up fighting in the war?
The war has taken the lives of millions of Soviet men. Women have taken over the factories, the hospitals, and the fields. But even that is no longer enough. I volunteered shortly after the fascists attacked. They tried to make me a nurse, but I refused. I wanted to fight. My father taught me how to hunt when I was a child. I convinced the commissar to place me in the infantry. Me and 2,000 other women were assigned as infantry snipers. Our small size allowed us to crawl into places men cannot go. It is not easy. The fascists do not treat snipers well, especially women snipers. It is better to die than to be captured. So far, over 1,000 of my fellow sisters have been killed, some in the most brutal of ways.
I'm sorry to hear that. It must be... I'm...
Shut up! Do you hear that? There's a hole up ahead. It looks a fascist forward operating group. Panzer trios and half trucks. Normal. But we should tell the commandant when we get to headquarters. We must keep moving. We are here. Welcome to Stalingrad headquarters. This is where all operations defending the city are coordinated. It used to be a shoe factory, but its location in the center of the city and the access to the pipe system has made it perfect for our needs. Wait here while I talk to the commandant.
So, quite snowy here, isn't it?
Huh.
You know, I really wish I had my camera. This is brilliant.
Not really. If this was the headquarters of the Allied Strategic Command, General Eisenhower would bust his polished buttons. It is amazing they can command an entire army from a place like, well, this.
They are doing it.
True, but, oh, she's returning.
Well, that was fast. No small talk, I guess.
Russians don't small talk. The commandant has a way to get you out of the city. While the fascists have most of the city surrounded, a single truck is able to drive over the frozen river every night, bringing us orders and supplies from Moscow. It will be here in several hours. When it leaves, you'll be on it. They can get you back to England when you get to Moscow.
I like the sound of that.
There's one thing he asks you to help us with.
And what might that be?
Remember that fascist forward operating group? Turns out they were part of a large offensive push into the city. Our troops are engaging them now. I've been ordered to go behind the enemy position and take out their forward operations commander, Hermann Schneider.
Where do we come in?
I normally operate on my own, but because of how close we will be to the action, the commandant wants me to have an escort. My rifle is good at long range, but useless in close combat. All of our troops are fighting, so he's asked you to be my escort.
Okay, hold up. I'm sorry, what now? I'm a bloody reporter, not a soldier.
I'm a pilot, Charles. You think I have fighting experience?
We would be happy to help. We owe you at least that much. But we are going to need weapons.
Come, we don't have much, but I'm sure there is something left in the armory. Ah, you're in luck, Captain. There's a Papasha left.
Ha! The famed Soviet machine gun. It's heavier than I expected.
Yes, but it still kicks like a Sika. Be careful. And for my standis, we have a Tokarev semi-auto rifle. Not as powerful as my Mosin Nagant, but I got my first kill with one. It fires every time you pull the trigger. Let us get both of you ammunition and then go hunting for some fascists.
Once again we entered the pipes, this time towards the German lines. My knuckles were white as I clung to my rifle. I was terrified. I could hear the battle going on below us as we crawled above the streets. Lieutenant Pavlichenko led us to a building which appeared to be some form of office complex. Looking out a window, I could see the battle going on right in front of us. The brave soldiers of the Red Army lined the defences, firing their rifles at the advancing German tanks and infantry. We climbed up a stairwell until we reached the top. The lieutenant moved towards a window she seemed to like.
This looks like good perks. Captain, if you could watch the door. And Mr. Stantis, I need you to be my spotter. Here, take these binoculars. Be on a lookout for a man near the rear. He'll have an officer's uniform and be speaking into a radio.
They're there! I think I see him! He's on that Jerry half truck near the fountain, about 500 yards.
Got him. That is Snyder, alright.
He is so far away, how can you make that?
Of course, I'm Russian. 450 meters, no wind. May the hand of Stalin guide my shot.
You got him!
As much as I would like to celebrate, it sounds like we may be having company soon. We need to get the heck out of here! Pronto!
Lead the way, Captain.
Halten Sie Ihre Waffen bereit.
Krauts! Aus! Möge Waffen! Amerikaner! Ah! Clear! Let's keep moving.
Ah! Why, you dirty J. Rotter!
Charles! Charles! He's dead.
Right.
Come on, let's go.
We were able to return safely to the headquarters without any other encounters with the Germans, which was good because I fired all my ammo at that soldier. Turns out the Germans retreated shortly after we killed Herr Snyder. To top things off, the dispatch lorry arrived while we were away. It was one of those Studebakers from the American Lend-Lease deal. Unfortunately, we had little time to say goodbye when we got back.
I guess this is it then.
Da. Thank you for helping us.
I think our ride's waiting for us. Good luck, Lieutenant.
Das Vidania.
So, you work with Lady Death,
I'm sorry?
Lieutenant Pavlichenko. She's a very famous lady. Over 300 kills. Most of Soviet army. Fascists call her Lady Death. Most wanted Soviet other than Stalin himself.
I had no idea. After arriving in Moscow, we managed to get a ride with a Russian transport aircraft to Ukraine. After a few days, the next flight of American bombers came. The squadron leader was kind enough to let us fly in his bomber. After a 9-hour trip, we landed back in the safety of England. Just before writing this article, a headline in the New York Times mentioning the name Lady Death caught my eye. Apparently, Lieutenant Pavlichenko was injured by a mortar shortly after we left, taking her out of service. The Soviet government decided to make her a propaganda symbol and was going to America to meet President Roosevelt. I'm glad she came out of the fight, and hopefully she survived to the end of the war. With luck, she might be able to finish that history degree she wanted. Charles Standish, The Times.